Good morning, guys. It's Kelly and Crystal, and it's time for another Learn to Blog Hangout. I think it's been about 8 weeks since we've been on here. It's been over 8 weeks because I think November 18th was our last Hangout. So we're at the end of January. It's been, what? Why are you shaking your head? Huh?
We did one like 3 weeks ago.
We did a Hangout? We did?
I think so.
I think you're dreaming.
No, you did.
We did? What Hangout did we do?
I don't remember, but I know it existed.
Huh.
Yeah, we totally did one.
Well, I guess I wasn't.
I think you hosted it.
Maybe I wasn't coherent. Did we do one? Well, it seems like it's been since November since we've had a Hangout. Let me just say. Our schedules have been really, really wonky, and I miss the routine of this. So I know that it's been a couple of weeks for sure since we've been on, but it feels like it's been since November. But today we have a really, really fun topic. It's a really important topic. There are a lot of people in our Learn to Blog group who work full-time jobs and struggle with blogging, struggle with managing their blog, struggle with making time to blog. They want to make a part-time or a full-time income from it, maybe eventually come home so that you don't have to work outside the home. And it's a lot of work to get to that point to do that. And when you're working full-time outside the home, it's even harder. So we have brought in today an awesome guest. Her name is Paige, and she's going to introduce herself in just a second. She's been a longtime watcher of our Learn to Blog Hangouts, and she's over on the Facebook page. You'll see her from time to time over there, but she's a full-time nurse and makes time to run a blog and make a part-time income from it. So she has lots of things to share, but before we do those introductions, I'm Crystal VanTassel, Dallas mom blogger at crystalandcomp.com, and I have been blogging since 2008. So this spring, I think it will be in April, is when I will have my blog birthday kind of thing. So it's been a long time, just a natural morphing process. Started off as an online journal, and now it's more of a mom website. So Kelly and I have been doing these Learn to Blog Hangouts it's been almost 2 years, right, Kelly? We started, I think it has. We started January 2013, right?
February.
Okay, February. So we're almost at the 2-year mark. And we have over 80 videos of awesome free content to help you grow your blog and take it to the next level. So, all right, Kelly, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
So real quick, the last video we did was how to make and reach your 2015 blogging goals. I hosted it. I just put the link over on the Hangout page. Remember that one, Crystal?
No, not really. Nope.
Hey guys, I'm Kelly. And I'm sorry I'm delayed and I have an echo and my background is boring, but it's me, I'm here, and I have no straightener today and no makeup, so whatever. I'm here in my new house, in my new office that has nothing in it. So I blog about homeschooling and homemaking tips. I'm actually adding a DIY section in there now because I'm making furniture and stuff for this house. But I've been blogging since November 2006. I don't really have a whole lot to say. My mind is just seriously. What?
You're a full-time blogger.
I am. I'm a pro blogger. I make a full-time income off of my site.
So there you go. But your site is 100% what you do. You don't, neither of us work outside the home. So both of our sites is 100% what we do, outside of raising kids, homeschooling kids, helping our husbands, taking care of a home and all that good stuff. But you know how that goes. Okay.
But but Paige does all of those things, takes care of the kids and the house and the blog and works outside the home. So she's going to tell us how she gets it all done.
And Kelly, this process for you with your house, I mean, we've had a lot of conversations, and recently you said there's no way. There's no way. I mean, it really would be, it feels impossible because that, building a house has taken a lot of your attention, which would be essentially a full-time job. And
10 to 12 hours a day I'm working on the house.
Oh, yeah, so much. All right, so let's let's introduce our sweet friend Paige. Paige, if you want to introduce yourself, tell us about you, and then we will start. We'll dive into all of your tips and pointers.
All right, well, I'm Paige, and I blog at creatingandco.com. I'm a DIY meets lifestyle blog. I share a lot of crafts, a few recipes, printables, that kind of thing. And I'm also a full-time ER nurse, and I've been a nurse for a little bit over a year, and a new ER nurse. So I also just started a new job.
Awesome. So ER nurse, I didn't think to ask you the other day where you were at. So ER nurse, that's a stressful, crazy job. And you mentioned to me that you don't have the ability when you're at work to do anything. I mean, you can't even really get on Facebook and chat with anybody. You can't work anything, and that makes sense. Being an ER nurse, I mean, of course not. So for those of you guys who are working a full-time job outside of the home and have zero ability to give your blog any attention while you're not at home, Paige is singing your song. So she's gonna give us lots of information. So you told us where you're blogging at. How old is your blog?
My blog is almost 3 years old, I guess. I started in May 2012.
Okay, and you started this blog. You were very much you had told me that you had started it when you got married, and you were just going to do kind of like an online journal. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about what your vision was for your blog at first, and then how that, because so many blogs go through this morphing and changing process. Mine and Kelly's both did. So talk about what your site looked like when you started and what that process was like changing.
Sure. Let's see. I started reading blogs when I was planning my wedding, as a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. And right after we got married, I was thinking it would be so great to be able to, years from now, have something to look back on and see my thoughts and my ideas and how my first year of marriage was. But I knew that I would never actually write in a journal, but I might keep up with a blog. So I started there, and it quickly became my only outlet outside of nursing school to talk to anyone that was non-nursing. So it kind of transformed from there, and then I got a sponsored post, I think through Clever Girls, and I was pretty much hooked by that point.
And so you realized very quickly, and I think that that's what happens. We realize, we're like, wait a minute, we have influence here. This could become a business. This could become something. Our audience is listening to us, wanting to know what kind of things we use, do, like, whatever, and brands see that, and brands are like, well, here's a community and an audience, and I think that that's a lot of what happens. We start off with this blog that is very much about, journaling and chronicling our life, and then we realize, wait a minute, this can totally be a business. Kelly, when you first started Three Boys and a Dog, I mean, I don't know that you've really said before that your site was like a journal, but would you have considered it like a journal?
Actually, I would consider my blog not really a journal, but more like my pen pal. It was like I was writing to a friend about being stuck at home when I used to work 44 hours a week outside the home, and about my struggles with my child not knowing what his quote unquote issue was. Turned out he's in the autism spectrum, and he's come a long way. In fact, he's 15 and he's at the DMV right now getting his permit. Whatever.
Oh my goodness.
So it was just me kind of pouring out my heart to a friend. Mm-hmm. And then, from there, like, oh, this could be a business. And it's really transformed into helping other parents, keep their kids entertained and homeschooled and fed.
Right, exactly. Right. So, Paige, when you first started, right now you're writing about 6 days a week. When you first started, what did it look like? Like, when you compare, when you start looking back at that process of growth because there are people, I'm thinking of one sweet girl in particular who works full-time outside the home. She's a teacher, and she's like, Crystal, please just help me figure out how I can eventually be home and make a full-time income off of my site. And there are so many people who want to get there. And you realize, you get to this point where you realize, okay, I've got to really kick things up a notch. And in order to see results, I've got to kick it up. So what did your posting schedule look like when you first started compared to now? The kind of content, was it deliberate? Was it well thought out? Tell us, compare some of that for us so that we can see what the hobby page blogger looked like and what the business-oriented blogger looked like for you.
Well, when I first started, it was summer break, and I was excited. So I was blogging every day, but I wasn't deliberate about my content. It was pretty much whatever's on my mind that day, that kind of thing. And then once school picked back up, and then later once I started working as a nurse, I was posting, some weeks I was posting like one post a week, and it was a little deliberate, but not really. It wasn't consistent at all. And then sometime in 2014, a friend of mine kind of kicked my butt into gear and was like, hey, if you want to grow, you've got to post 6-7 days a week and be consistent at it. So I've kind of had to make sacrifices and do different things so that I'm able to do that.
And so you noticed quickly, once you made a commitment, and because Kelli and I have told you guys that 3 blog posts a week is a hobby blogger. So yes, there's
I don't care how much money you make from it. 3 days a week, you're a hobby blogger.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, if you want to be a pro blogger, what that means is you blog professionally. That is your job. Then you need 40 hours a week in it. It's a full-time job. That's how you're no longer a hobby blogger or a part-time blogger. It doesn't matter if you blog, 12 hours today to schedule out some posts in the future. I think you need 40 hours a week in order to consider yourself
easily
a full-time pro blogger.
Easily. And I can say that I was getting like 4,000 page views a month, and this was when I was inconsistent and I wasn't paying any attention. Within 30 days, I was getting over 12,000 to 15,000 views a month, and then it's just been climbing and climbing since then, and now I'm at almost 80,000 a month. And that's with probably 4 or 5 months of actually being deliberate and with my content and being consistent.
Right.
So it does grow pretty quickly once you're actually serious about it, I guess.
Right. And one of the things Paige is going to dive into, sorry, I got hot, had to take my sweater off. It's not winter weather here in Texas today. But I was
Really?
No, it's like, I don't know what the temperature is. I haven't had a chance to watch the news this morning, but it's probably 45 degrees outside, 50 degrees. It's actually kind of nice. Anyway, so Paige is going to share with us what she is doing, what that process of kicking it up a notch looked like, and what she's doing to make these things, to make the growth happen. And this is what you're going to realize. A lot of her pointers and tips and the processes that she's doing line up exactly with what Kelli and I share with you guys in every single hangout, when you take our class, when we share stuff on the forum, when we, all the things that we share on the forum for getting you on the right track to running your site as a business. All of this, it really, at the end of the day, if you're blogging and working full-time outside the home, or if you're blogging at home all day long, these pointers and tips, it all lines up together. But when you are working outside the home, there's no wiggle room. There's no room for any flaws or dropping the ball, because you're going to pay for it, especially if you have absolutely no access to your stuff while you're away from work. So tell me, so your schedule is obviously a little bit different, Paige, than what, a school teacher. She's got Saturday and Sunday off. You've got 3 hours. Tell us how your schedule is and what the things are that you absolutely must do on the days that you're not working to set you up for success for the week for your blog. Tell us what your schedule looks like and how you do that.
Okay. I work 3 12-hour shifts a week, and those 3 days, they may as well not exist for me as far as blogging goes. I sleep, I go to work, and I eat. That's it. So on the days I'm off, I've got to shop for my craft supplies, make my crafts, photograph them, and then write the blog post. I typically try to stay a week ahead of myself so that for the next week everything's done. Some weeks I'm better at it than others, but that's typically what I try to do. So my husband knows that for 2 days out of the week it's blogging and I'm getting all of that done, and it's not, okay, I have 4 days off. I really have 2 days off, and that's it. I say 2 days off, but those are just the days I'm not blogging for 12 hours a day.
But you're still getting on and checking stuff out and making sure that your blog is running well, etc. And you shared with me that when you work a full-time day, when you work a 12-hour day, nursing, when you come home, you're exhausted. Even if you've got an hour before you go to bed, you have no mental mind that is available for your blog. So, and you couldn't check anything out while you were gone at work, and you've really got to rely on scheduling and on the other things that we're going to talk about. But so it really is, you know, whether you have Saturday and Sunday off or whether you have a couple of days off because you work shifts that are 12 hours on, 12 hours off, or whatever, you have got to, it's just like Kelly and I tell you guys all the time, you need to figure out if you can get up an hour early or stay up an hour late after everybody's in bed or before everybody gets up, because that hour of uninterrupted time or 2 hours or whatever it is that you can work in, I mean, it's vital. It's the only way that you can get 3 hours worth of work done in an hour of uninterrupted kid and husband time. I mean, don't you agree, Kelly?
Oh, absolutely. I got up at 3:30 this morning, and I worked until right at 5 o'clock, and I got so much done off of my to-do list this morning. And then I went back to bed, but
right. You're so funny, Kelly. So this is what I love about what you're doing, Paige. You spend one day creating, I am not disciplined enough to do this. So working full-time outside of the home is out for me. I would fail. I do not have the discipline to do that because I need lots of wiggle room. So working full-time, not an option for me. But so I love this, you spend an entire day shopping for your craft, creating your craft, photographing your craft, and then the next day, and you do a lump of them, and then the next day is when you actually go in and write up your post, edit your pictures, put everything together, and schedule as many things as you can. That's really, really smart. Really smart. I actually know a big blogger who has been around forever and ever and ever before blogging was even a big deal, and she does not work full-time outside of the home, but that's what I've always heard. She's spoken at conferences. I've never gotten to see her speak personally, but I've listened back on playbacks to them, and that's what she has said. She spends one day of the weekend creating all of her content and creating all of her posts for the entire week, and then it schedules out, and that's what goes out. And to me, I don't know, that's such a, I want to wake up today and say, okay, this is what I want to create, and it works for me, and I get my content out, but I'm so impressed. It must take so much structure and so much discipline to do that, but it's sink or swim. You have to, right? I mean, there's no option.
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm trying to discipline myself into spending, when I get home from work, at least 15 minutes on Google Plus, since you can't schedule there. Mm-hmm. But like I said, sometimes I'm brain dead after work, so sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't.
Right. So tell me how you are. Another huge thing for your success is you rely on a tribe. Mm-hmm. And Kelly and I talk about having a tribe. We talk about this all the time, no matter if we're talking to you on the forum, on Facebook, in a hangout. Tribes are a must, and that's a lot of how Kelly and I grew off of each other as well. So tell me what that looks like for you and how you found your tribe and how you give and take and how they help you and how that's propelled your blog.
I'm very lucky to have found a group of women that understand that I do work outside of the home, and we have a couple of others that also work outside the home. So when we have like a system where we drop our links and we share that, and we kind of go through daily threads kind of thing, and that's just what's worked for us. And they are understanding of the fact that I may drop my link and I may not share them that day, but I will catch up to my threads and share them when I'm off. And so that has been very helpful, finding that group of supportive people who can kind of pick up the slack when I'm not able to pick it up myself.
And tell us what that tribe looks like, because it's not just you and 3 or 4 other people. Tell us how you found it and what that tribe looks like, and just give us those details.
We started as a group of, just a Facebook group of people who wanted to connect with different brands and share tips on how to create sponsored posts that worked into your blog instead of just kind of being a walking advertisement. And since then, we've kind of been like, okay, well, why don't we share everything and help support each other with every post instead of just sponsored posts? So it's a group of about 60, and that's how we work. I'm really close to probably 6 of them, and everyone else, I almost kind of treat it kind of like a school, where we're like a school of 60 bloggers teaching each other, and then we also have like our own little group of beauty bloggers, DIY bloggers, fashion bloggers. We've got a good mix.
So this is a group that started on Facebook. It's a Facebook group, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys, so for those of you who are like, you know, I can't find a tribe, I've tried hard to find a tribe, I can't find anybody, there's lots of ways that you can do it. You can reach out to a few people and start building a relationship with those few people, intimately create your own little thing, or I love what they've done here. So it's a group of 60 people or so who are all passionate about making money from their blog and having a business. But so all 60 of them are sharing, but then there's a core 6 of them that relate in this area, and they stick close to each other. And there's this core group. I love that. That is perfect. And for those of you who can't find a tribe and you find yourself, you're on these different Facebook groups and different Facebook boards, these are people that you can resonate with. Figure out that core group of 3 or 4 or 5 that you can connect with and really form a tight relationship with, because my feeling is, with what Paige is doing, if it wasn't for that tribe, I mean, there's so much of your ability to be able to stay away for a 24-hour period of time or a 12-period hour of time and still continue to push content out is coming from that group and that give and take and what each other is providing for one another. Don't you agree? I mean, that's vital. That is very important.
Definitely. That's definitely a big part of why I can still have page views when I'm not able to share myself.
Right, exactly. Kelli, you're so pro-tribe. What do you want to add to that? What are your thoughts about that? You weren't listening. I caught you. You weren't listening. Okay, here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to ask questions.
Yeah, everything that Crystal said.
Crystal's brilliant. Everything she said. I want you guys, I know that a tribe is a very important topic. It's something that we get asked about all the time. It's probably one of the top private messages that I get from you guys when you're looking for a tribe. So if you guys have specific questions for Paige about tribes or about her schedule or managing any of that, please, I'm checking the event page. Please leave your questions over there, and we are happy to get them answered. So what were you going to say, Kelli?
So yeah, I did want to say this about tribes. Okay.
Go ahead.
You cannot force it, guys. The relationship is not going to work, and it's going to end up falling apart. You have to build it organically. Over time, you build relationships with people. You don't just run out, when you get to the mall and start looking around and go, okay, you, and you, we're all shopping in the same store, so we're going to be friends. It doesn't work that way. You don't know those people. It's the same way on the internet. You can't just say, hey, you, and you, we all write about the same thing, so let's be friends, and expect everything to be 100% great. You have to build it over time.
Definitely.
Right, absolutely. Kelli, if you can help me watch the event page so that we can get any questions that come through, that would be great.
I'm watching.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so here's the next big thing I want to talk about, Paige. So you are making a part-time income from your site. I think I'm lagging. Can y'all hear me okay? You are making a part-time income from your site. Tell me what that looks like. Where are the places that you're getting your sponsorships? What kind of ad networks are you running? How do you manage that? You told me you're at work and you can't check. So how do you make sure that your content went live and that your Facebook schedules are going out? whenever it's a sponsored post. Tell me how you manage that kind of stuff, and what networks are you working with to get these paying gigs?
Well, obviously, a lot of time it's just scheduling my content, scheduling my posts, scheduling my tweets, my Facebook page, my Facebook posts, all of that. And I think I work the most with Linkia and Social Fabric, and I'm running AdSense on my blog. I was running Rivet ads on my blog. They've kind of changed some things up, so I'm kind of still searching for my other blog network. But, I mean, it's just all scheduled. It has to be. If I'm not home to do it, then it won't go up if I'm not up. And luckily, my friends, my tribe group, is really good about texting me if my blog is down. So, which is awesome. I know, like, I kind of know that, okay, if it's down, they'll tell me. So then maybe I can be like, okay, I'm going to the bathroom. Let me see if I can fix this.
So, that's good. Kelly and I, we've had each other's phone numbers for forever. I mean, you know, to have access to someone that way, or to be friends on Facebook and be able to direct message them and say, I mean, our poor host, Kelly and I know sometimes before the host does, and she gets a message instantly when our sites go down, but sometimes Kelly and I are super instant, and you know, Kelly and I are messaging each other and saying, what's going on? Have you had issues with your site today? And then we're messaging our host or whatever. Like, we have a very open line of communication, and that's really, really important, you know, to be able to have that lifeline, so that, you know, if I see something's wrong with Kelly's site, I can call her and try to fix it, try to get in and help her, or vice versa. She can do the same for me. So
I even have a friend that I met through blogging that has my password, like literally, so that she can be me if I'm not able to be me.
Right. Yeah. You know, I'm going to tell you, that's important. When our host says, Crystal, how do I get into your cPanel, or what's your cPanel passwords? I tell her, just ask Kelly, because I don't even know that. Kelly keeps up with that stuff better than I do, and she has it from the times that she's had to get on and fix something for me. So you do have to have that trusting relationship with someone. You know, you really do. I think that that's awesome, and I think you're working it beautifully. So obviously, scheduling things out, which is something that we tell you guys to be doing anyway, using an editorial calendar, keeping on top of things in a structured manner in that way, those are things that you're doing. Tell me what are some of the best tools? We went over your favorite tools that you're using. I think you shared 5 with me of your best tools for scheduling and keeping things organized. Are you needing to cut in, Kelly?
Yes.
Go ahead, woman.
Personally, I think one of her best things that she's doing is the whole working in bulk thing.
The whole what?
And you didn't mention working in bulk, where she does a whole bunch of her shopping for a whole bunch of things, and then she sits down and does a whole bunch of things with her pictures, and then she sits down and edits those pictures and puts her text or whatever on them, and then she sits down and does her blog posts, so that your mind is in the same whatever. Like, it takes a different part of your brain to do pictures than it does to write blog posts. Exactly. So I think when you work in bulk, it really helps you knock stuff out better.
Mm-hmm. Then I can get 5 crafts done instead of just 1.
I mean, I love that. I think it's great. And the times that I've done something like that, where I've sat down and taken a couple of, I mean, I've done that, but I don't know, I just feel so uncreative when I do that. Maybe my brain is just different, but if I worked outside the home, I would have to. There's no choice.
I mean, yeah, you do kind of feel like a factory sometimes. Like, okay, let me get this craft done, let me get this craft done. Okay, assembly line of tasks, but it works.
Yeah, well, it's such a great use of your time, for sure. What were you going to say, Kelly? Nothing?
No.
All right, so Miss Paige, tell us what your top 5 tools are that you're using to help you schedule and stay on task and keep this stuff, keep the mill of stuff going out for that site of yours.
Okay, I use an editorial calendar on WordPress. I use EditFlow. That's just the one that I like. I use Buffer to schedule tweets. Right now I'm actually using the Facebook post scheduler to kind of see how that works with my reach. And, what else? I use a paper planner just because I do like to write things down. So I like to have that calendar in my WordPress dashboard, but I also like to write things down. And
what are you using to schedule Pinterest?
I'm trying out Board Booster.
Oh, I want to know Board Booster. I want to know Board Booster, but Kelly's got to learn it and then train me on it.
That's kind of how I was. A friend learned it, and I messaged her, and I was like, so teach me.
Right, right. Are you using, did you tell me you're using Tailwind right now?
No, I was, that's the other option. If I don't like Board Booster, I'm going to try Tailwind.
Gotcha. And what about Buffer?
I like Buffer. For me, it's easy because it just adds, you set your first schedule, and then you just add to a queue over and over and over. So it's easier to me than Hootsuite. I used Hootsuite for a long time, but because Hootsuite's free and Buffer's $10 a month, but I just like the functionality of Buffer a lot better.
Kelly, do you use Buffer?
I have used Buffer, and I've used the pro version of Hootsuite, which the pro version costs. She's right, Buffer's easy. My problem is I forget to fill it up.
Yeah,
So I'm really liking Edgar, because Edgar recycles it. So if I go in and put 40 things and then I forget to put more in there, it starts back at the front and reposts them all again.
I did recently sign up for Sendable too. It's a lot like Edgar, and I loaded in a bunch of tweets from people in my Facebook group, and so their content's always going out. It's just I have to schedule my own content.
Right, right. Amber Simmons, she said she's a previous classmate of our Learn to Blog classes, and she's over in the forum, and she's over on Facebook. She says she's trying to work in bulk as well. It's easier for me to work on the weekends when my husband is home to watch the kids. So a lot of what we're finding is, I mean, it's what I said in the very beginning. A lot of what Paige is sharing is stuff that we should really all be doing to make the blogging process more efficient and effective. But when you're working outside the home, these things are an absolute must in order to keep your blog rolling and going. Okay, so Paige, tell me the top 5 things. If you are going to start a blog, or if you are running a blog and working full-time outside of the home, what are the top 5 things that you absolutely must be doing, and why?
Move to WordPress, because when you move to WordPress, you are making an investment in your blog. Once you make an investment, you're going to be invested in your blog, literally. You're going to be like, hey, I'm spending money on this. I need to grow it. I need to pay attention to it. Planning ahead is obviously an absolute must. Like I said, get an editorial calendar, get a calendar and start making an editorial calendar, or get an editorial calendar plugin on your WordPress blog that you just did, and plan ahead, plan your topic, plan everything so you know what's coming. You're going to have to sacrifice time. Like Crystal was saying, either you wake up an hour early, or you stay up an hour later, or you do like I do and you set aside your days off. I tell my friends I don't have a day off, basically, because I work as a nurse and then I work as a blogger. So my time off is literally a couple of hours here and there. You're going to have to be consistent. That's not blogging 3 days a week. That's blogging 5 or 6 times a week. 3 days a week is just big bloggers that have millions of page views can blog 3 times a week because they've built their following. They've paid their dues of posting 6 or 7 times a week. So now you have to do it. And get a support system. Find some friends that will kind of be your backup and be you if you can't be. And that's basically it in a nutshell. And
then what?
In a nutshell, that's basically it.
Well, so let's talk about, you said WordPress. There are so many benefits to WordPress, and Kelly and I have done a hangout on comparing WordPress to Blogger and why WordPress is the better choice. There's a lot of reasons. Instantly the SEO capabilities that you have with WordPress compared to Blogger are just night and day. But if you are relying on structure and scheduling to get a lot of your blog done. I haven't been on WordPress in years. I mean, I haven't been on Blogger in years, but you know, I know that the capabilities and the functionality that WordPress offers is definitely much more lending to someone on WordPress opposed to Blogger. You know, there's all the plugins and functions that you can add in for scheduling, for pushing your content out automatically. Like once you have a blog post go live, automatically having it pushed to your Facebook, pushed to your Twitter, etc. Just those benefits of WordPress are really, really important. So I definitely agree. And then there is the motivation that once you've paid to have a site, when you're on self-hosted WordPress, you're paying for hosting, you're paying for extra things, it is kind of a motivation to say, hey, I need to make this money back, or I need to be, it is a commitment to say I'm going to work hard to make this grow. Kelli, what are your thoughts about WordPress and the functionality and helping someone who's working full-time?
Yeah, we've already done the whole WordPress versus Blogger thing. We have a hangout on that. I'll have to give you the link. But yeah, personally, I think if it's a business, then you need to be putting your money into it. You need to be proving that it's a business.
Right.
You know that.
Right. But I definitely think that the added professional benefits that WordPress has, like the ability to if you are disciplined enough to use a calendar. Huh?
I said the SEO benefits of it, for sure.
Definitely.
Right. Absolutely. And then you had also said, Paige, about, you know, you've got to make a commitment to get up early, stay up late, or make the commitment to dedicate one of your days off to working on your blog stuff, like you've talked about and shared how you do that. And you said your friends just know that you don't have a day off, and these are your days dedicated. Here's the question that Kelli and I get all the time. People will say, but how do you do it every day? How do you get up, and how do you get a blog post done every day? How do you get this stuff pushed out to social media? I mean, we are asked this question all the time. And I always come back to them and say, how do you take care of your kids every day? How do you run your house every day? How do you get dinner on the table every day? It is literally about making a choice that today you're going to do this. Yep. And in your situation, it's the same thing. I mean, don't you agree?
Definitely. And I think a big part of it is I love blogging, so I put my time into it. I make that choice. Just like you love your kids, you love, you know, getting dinner on your table, you love cleaning your house, so you make the time to do it. If you don't love something, you're not going to do it.
Right. So it goes back to what Kelli and I say all the time. If this is not your passion, people who message us and say, I need to make an extra $500 a month, I'm going to start a blog because my brother's friend's husband's best friend's sister, she runs a coupon blog, and it does really well, so I'm pretty sure that I can do the same thing. So I'm going to start a coupon blog, and I'm going to make a lot of money. If you don't coupon, if you don't know anything about couponing, and if you resent figuring out how to do that, do you think you're going to love blogging? Do you think that it's going to be worth the stuff that you have to go through to get these blog posts out so that you can make $500? I think you're going to grow to resent it. So if you are not passionate about what you're doing, it's not going to work. Go ahead, Kelli.
Yeah, and it's not even just the whole if you don't coupon, you can't run a coupon blog. If you expect to be professional, your grammar, your spelling, your writing skills in general have to be above average. You don't have to be a phenomenal writer, but it has to look like it was written by a professional, not by a middle schooler. So my husband is not a writer. That is not his thing. He is a math person. You could tell the difference. He did a blog post on my site. If every blog post on my site looked like that, I wouldn't make the money that I make. He's a very smart person. Writing is not his thing. If you are not a writer, then don't try to be a professional writer. That's what a blogger is a professional writer.
Right.
Yep, absolutely. What were you going to say,
Paige? I'll be honest. I was driving to work last week, and I was like, man, I'm just overwhelmed. Maybe I can give up blogging. And literally, I thought this last week. And, like, in the same car ride, I was like, you know, no, because I can't imagine going through my life and not blogging. And unless you think that, then you're not going to be invested in actually making an income on it at all.
Right. When you feel like, I mean, when you feel like your blog is when it's part of your daily routine, when I almost lost my site because my site was hosted with a horrible host in South Carolina who his servers crashed, and I mean, it was a bad situation, and I almost lost everything I had. When you have that gut-wrenching feeling of, at that point, the 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears that you've put into something, it's like a family member. It's like another child. It's something that you're nurturing every single day to grow. You keep watering it and feeding it, and you keep giving it love, and that's what it is with a blog. We are so invested in what we're doing, and if you sit there and think, maybe I'm in over my head and I just don't need to be blogging anymore, and then in the same breath you're like, I can't imagine not doing this. This is what I'm passionate about. Then you've just got to sit down and figure out exactly how the tools that you can utilize, the methods that you can implement, the connections that you can make with groups so that you can run your site as effectively as possible and still push out content and create things that you're passionate about, that others see that you're passionate about, your readers and the sponsors that are wanting to partner with you. So, I mean, really, guys, it's the same. It's what Kelli and I say all the time. You've got to be passionate about what you're doing. You've got to be structured and organized to keep everything in order. The things that she's doing is the things that we're already teaching you. She's just kicking it up a notch because she has no wiggle room for, oops, that post didn't go out. She doesn't have access when she's at work to babysit or to connect with any of that. So it's just about really, getting your schedule in order and making a commitment to be structured with all of this and utilize the tools available to make it happen. Is there anything, we really don't have any questions coming through. Kelli, is there anything final that you want to add to it, or Paige, any final thoughts that you have?
I do. I would say, we've kind of danced around it the entire 45 minutes of this hangout. And I think it goes not just with blogging, but any work-at-home job, any job that you do where you are your own boss. I think the one thing that you have to make it work is self-discipline.
Yeah.
Whatever that self-discipline looks like, that's what you have to have, period. No matter how much you love it, no matter how exciting or fun or whatever it is, no matter how much money you might make from it. I mean, if you go into it and you're all of a sudden making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a week from it, even that isn't enough to make you continue doing it. You have to have self-discipline. And without self-discipline, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to eventually fail.
Yep.
Definitely.
You absolutely, I mean, it is. That's exactly the word that I'm trying to think of. And you're right. If you don't have self-discipline, to be a blogger who is not working outside the home and doing everything from home, if you do not have the ability to say, today I'm going to get up and work on this, then it's not going to happen and it's not going to get done. Jennifer Hughes said, which is from jennyrevolution.com, I think is the name of her site, she said, I would agree that if you're not passionate about the topic, your blog just isn't going to work. I run 2 full-time blogs, which seems ridiculous, particularly to me, she says, and I will interject, oh my word, I cannot imagine running 2 blogs. Kelli's been there with 3, and I don't envy that. But one is about sensory processing disorder and sensory issues and autism. Even though my site, the Sensory Spectrum, isn't my moneymaker, I will never walk away from it. And that's true. You feel like, you're getting to spend your day sharing with people the things that you love and the things that are near and dear to your heart. And so, of course, you're not going to walk away from that. And you are going to continue to pour love and work into that. All right. Any final things you want to add, Paige?
No, I think the main thing is just be committed and have self-discipline, like Kelli said, and be consistent and committed with it.
Yep. And get yourself set up for success. Partner and group with those people that you can work off of each other with, and utilize the tools that you need in place to keep everything in order, the calendars, the scheduling tools, and be committed to it, and it will happen. You will just keep putting in what you can and what you have the discipline to do, and you will see results. I always say deliberate actions are what bring results for sure. Okay, all right, guys, so we will continue the conversation. I'm going to share some resources over on the forum about working outside the home, and those of you who are part of our VIP forum, you're going to want to go over there and add your resources as well and share your input and how you are making this work for you and your resources. And otherwise, we will see you guys back in February. We're not, I'm not 100% sure what our February schedule is going to look like. We do have another guest coming on in February for sure that will talk about working with sponsors. But other than that, we'll just keep you guys posted as new Hangout topics come up. What were you going to say, Kelly?
Nothing. Bye.
Bye. You're funny. All right, guys. Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much, Paige. Y'all be careful. Bye.
Bye.